Hello YouTube, hello guys, welcome to another exciting day. Welcome to my channel, welcome to YJ Digital World. I remain your host, Hugh Joseph. So guys, on today's tutorial video, I'll be walking you through on how to create a party flyer design for a party using Photoshop precisely. So one of the core of this tutorial video has to do with designers' creativity. Okay, so we'll be looking at how we can apply our creative ability in terms of creating a nice custom background that will help to depict the message on the foreground successfully, and how to create a good design layout, okay, that helps to control the eye movements of your audience. So if this sounds like what you are actually interested in and you are new to my channel, do well to smash the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content on my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you guys for always watching. So over here I have the Photoshop application opened on my PC. So the first phase of this design has to do with creating of the Canva workspace for the design project. So I'll come over here and click on new file. So the new document panel comes up. I will be creating this design using the Instagram portrait frame size of 1080 by 1350 pixels. Our unit is set on pixels precisely. Resolution is set on 300, the color mode is set on RGB. I can choose to give the project a name, which is party flyer. So after you are done with that, you click on the create button. So over here we have the Canva workspace on which we'll be working on the design. Okay, so the next thing I have to do here is to drag in all the exercise files I'll be using for this tutorial. The link to the exercise files I'll be using for this tutorial is in the video description. So here are the exercise files I'll be using for this tutorial. Okay, so the first phase of creating this design in this Canva has to do with creating of the background. So for me to create this background, I'll be making use of these two images precisely in creating my custom background precisely. So over here I'll enable these two and I'll drag this beneath. Okay, turn off this to start with this. So I'll hit Ctrl T to actually transform to scale up the actual size of the image to fit my Canva properly. After I'm done, I click on the check. So the next thing I would like to do is to come over to filter and apply a Gaussian blur effect to the background so that the background will be faded out to a reasonable percent. So the main essence of me blowing out the background has to do with creating an area of focus for what I'll be placing on the foreground precisely. So what should be on the foreground should be the area of concentration of your target audience. So it should be more visible than what is on the background. That is the main essence of me blowing out the background. At least your background should be at least visible about 20% is okay enough, okay, in terms of taking the attention of your audience. So I'll enable this other layer here, hit Ctrl T and adjust it like this on my Canva. Click on the check. After I'm done with this, I have to change the blending mode so that it will blend in properly with the other layer beneath it. Okay, so after I'm done with this, I'd like to brush out these sharp edges. So I'll apply a vector mask to this, pick my brush, okay, and make sure the foreground color is set on black, and make sure the mask layer is selected. Okay, right click and make sure you are working with the soft round brush precisely. So you make use of your opacity and flows to actually control the strength of your brush. Okay, by scaling up the flows, you are increasing the strength of the brush. So I'll come over here and brush out these edges like this. So I'll brush out these edges as well. Need these places to be out of focus as well. So I think this is good enough like this. So come over to the adjustment and create a gradient map for this. Make sure the gradient thumbnail is selected, not the mask layer. Come over here and click on the gradient. It takes you to the gradient editor. On this gradient editor, I've already created a preset of gradients I'll be using for this tutorial. On this end, here's the hex code to the color I'm actually using for this end, while on this other end, here is the hex code for the color I'm actually using for this other end. So I click on the OK and click on the OK. So I'll come over here and change the blending mode to, let me see which works perfectly well. I think this works perfectly well for this. So I'll select this gradient layer, hold shift, select this layer over here, hit Ctrl G and rename this file and call this BG, which stands for the background. I'm trying to organize my layer as neat as possible. So after I'm done with this, I move to the next part that has to do with the model. So I'll place in my character image over here, that is my subject image. Right click and convert it to a smart object. By doing so, it enables you to maintain the actual image quality whenever you scale it up or scale it down without actually losing its resolution or quality. Okay, so after I'm done converting it to a smart object, hit Ctrl T on the keyboard, hold Alt and scale out like this, perfectly well like this. Okay, so after you're done with that, you can choose to click on the check. Okay, so the next thing I would like to do to this model image is to add depth to the model image. So how do I go about that? I'll slide over to filter and activate the camera raw filter. So over here we have the camera raw activated on my PC. So I'll start with the basics precisely. So for this image, I'll be working on the basics and making little adjustments on the highlights as well as on the shadows as well. So I'll start by making little adjustments on the contrast as well as little adjustment on the highlights as well. Scale this down like this is okay. Scale down the shadows like this so that it will add more depth to those regions that need more shadows. So likewise the white, I'll add more shadows to those highlighted regions as well like this. For the black, I'll also scale down this like this. Okay, for the textures, I'll also scale up the texture to about, I think this is good like this. So please take note, this is more of an eyeballing situation. There are no actual parameters in making use of the camera raw. You allow your eyes to actually guide you to know when you are overdoing it and make adjustments when needed. Okay, so I'll apply a little fill and by boosting up the clarity as well. Okay, likewise I'll have to come over to my saturation and scale down my saturation a little bit. I like reducing the saturation so that whenever I'm working on the final color grading, I won't have an oversaturated image at the end of the whole color grading. So it is preferable to work with a lesser saturated image than a highly saturated image. Okay, so I think this is okay like this. Then I'll come over here on the details and boost up the sharpness of this image. Okay, I'll scale it up. I need this to be as sharpened as possible. I think this is okay, and lighten up by applying a little feel of noise into this as well. Okay, then you click on the OK button. Okay, so this is without the camera raw and this is with the camera raw effect. Okay, so the image is actually coming to life. So the next thing I would like to do is to select the gradient layer, hold Alt, left click and drag above like this to create a duplicate of this. Okay, so all I have to do next is to come over here and change the blending mode so that it will blend properly well with this like this. Okay, so after you are done, make sure this gradient is actually clip marked on the model precisely. You can select both layers and hit Ctrl G and call this model to be precise. Okay, that is for that. So the next thing I have to do is by adding a light flare to the earring region so that it will glow properly. So I'll come over here and enable this. Okay, after I'm done with that, I can choose to hit Ctrl T, scale it down a little like this as well. Okay, so after I'm done with that, so the next thing I would like to apply a mask. Take my brush, scale down the opacity a little like this. Okay, and can choose to scale up the size of my brush using the open and close bracket key beside the play button to scale up the actual size, and make sure this is set on black and the mask layer is selected, so you can brush out this way like this, gently, softly like this. Okay, so after you're done brushing out these edges and making them as soft as this, so the next thing I'll advise is for you to come over here to filter, blur, and apply a motion blur effect. Okay, but before doing that, make sure the actual thumbnail of the lens is actually selected. Come over to filter and apply a motion blur. I think this radius is okay like this, and check. Okay, so after you're done with that, I can come over here, right click and convert the layer to a smart object, hit Ctrl T. Okay, you can still right click once more and convert it to a smart object. Come over here and place it around somewhere like this. Okay, hit Ctrl J. Okay, Ctrl T, then rotate the newly duplicated layer like this. Okay, check, hit Ctrl J, Ctrl T, rotate the angle of the newly duplicated layer and place it like this. So after you are done, you can select this layer and hold shift, select the next layer of the light, hit Ctrl G to group it and call this light. Okay, so you can still choose to scale down the size a little and make sure it is positioned properly on the earrings precisely. After you're done with that, come over here to your adjustment and apply the hues and saturations to this. Enable the colorize option and click on the clip mark so that the effect will be only on the earrings. Scale up your saturation to this so that the red will glow properly on the earrings precisely. I think we are good to go for this. While for the logo, I'll hit Ctrl A, pick my move tool and align this horizontally, Ctrl D to actually deselect the selection, Ctrl T to transform the layer, and hold shift, left click and drag and place it around somewhere like this. Hold Alt and scale out and enable this like this. And still hit Ctrl T to scale down the size of the logo and place it in like this. Okay, so that is for this. So the next phase has to do with placing of our text, but before doing that, I need to blur out some of these regions. I'm trying to create a room for contrast, okay, on this design, because I'll be placing in some set of information at this end, so I would like them to be visible. So I'll come to the model layer over here, select the gradient and add a new layer over here. Okay, select your gradient tool from your tool panel here. Okay, make sure it's selected. The keyboard shortcut is called G. So this is the hex code for the color I'm using for this gradient. So on the gradient over here, I'll come on this end and set this as this. Okay, that is the color. While on this end, okay, this is the color and the opacity is set on 100. Here is filled with the same shade of color, but it has 0 opacity. That's just the difference between the both edges. So all I have to do, make sure this is set on linear precisely, and you come over here, left click and drag like this. Okay, so after you are done like this, you can still hit Ctrl T and scale up and apply and transform to resize it a little bit on that edge. So after we are done with that, and close the group. Okay, come over here, pick my text tool and start placing in my text. So you place your text on this end, select both layers. So I'll select both layers, hold shift, select both layers, hit Ctrl A to make a quick selection of the canvas. Pick your move tool and align this horizontally to the middle and hit Ctrl D to actually deselect. So I'll come over here and hit Ctrl T for this particular image, for this particular text, and scale it up precisely, while for this other text I'll hold Alt, okay, and transform and scale it up to about something like this is okay. So the next thing I would like to do is to select both layers and change the font to a new typeface, not Montserrat for this. So I'll change it to the Broker Regular is the name of the font I'll be using for this. So hit Ctrl A, pick the move tool and align this horizontally. Ctrl D, Ctrl T, can scale up this like this and adjust its position to somewhere like this as well. Check. Okay, so I'll come over here and select this layer and scale it down like this, adjust its position, and we are good to go for this. So the next thing I would like to do is to start adding depth to this theme text. So I'll come over here, place this over here on my layer, hold Alt in between the text layer and the image layer. Notice my mouse pointer changes to this. Left click to create a clipping marks. Okay, so hit Ctrl T and adjust the position, scale down the size, okay, and place it like this on your canvas. So you check. So after you're done with this, the next thing I would like to do is to add a curve adjustment to this. So I'll come here, add a curve adjustment and add more of shadows to this. Click on the clip mask so that the effect will be only on the text layer. Okay, that's for that, guys. So after I'm done with this, I'll select both layers of the gold texture layer and the curve, hold Alt to make a duplicate and apply it to the other text at the top, hold Alt in between them and start applying a clipping marks. Okay, so hit Ctrl T, transform, and place this around somewhere like this as well. So after I'm done with this, I'll select this layer, hold shift, select the text layer over here and group this together. Okay, so after I'm done with this, I can choose to call this the theme of the event. Okay, so after we are done with this, double click on this and come to the layer styles. So enable the drop down shadows and we'll set our shadows as follows. Okay, so I'll boost up this, and for the shadow I'd like to pick this. Okay, I'll sample a color from this region for the shadow purpose, or choose a darker shade as well for this. Okay, choose to make the adjustment like this. Okay, soften it a little bit, and the spread size, you can still adjust the angle manually by left clicking and dragging the with the use of your mouse. Okay, I think this is okay like this. Then you click on the OK button, that is for the theme. So the next text has to do with the organizing body for the event. So I'll select the whole text. I'm making use of the Montserrat for this, set this on bold, while for the present text I'll be setting this on regular to be precise, and check. Okay, Ctrl T, transform the size and place it somewhere around like this. Okay, that's for that. So after I'm done with this, I'll move to the next phase of placing in the music policy text and the height policy. So I'll come over here, pick my rectangle to be precise over here, left click and drag and create a rectangle of this shape like this. Okay, come to here and change the fill color to this. Okay, change the fill color to this, and this is the hex code for the color. Okay, and turn off the stroke precisely. You turn off the stroke, come over here, pick the text tool left click and paste in the text. So I'll come over here on my property panel. In case you don't have your property panel here, you can enable your property panel from the windows, or as well as the character panel, you can enable any of them. Okay, so for this I'll set this on semi bold and I'll adjust this by hitting Ctrl T, scale this down properly like this. Okay, hold Ctrl on your keyboard, move your mouse pointer to where you have the rectangle on your layer panel. My mouse pointer changes to a hand icon like this on this region. Left click, you'll notice I've made a quick selection of the rectangle. The text layer is selected. Pick the move to align horizontally and vertically into the rectangle. Okay, so I can come over here, hold Alt to make a duplicate of this text. Pick the text tool and come over here, edit this and paste in your text into this space. Okay, for this I'll change the font size style to bold, or let me say extra bold. Will work perfectly well for this. Okay, that's for this. You can still choose to transform and scale down this rectangle a little bit. After I'm done changing the style, hit Ctrl T, scale up the size of the text. Okay, so select the layer, hold Shift, select all the way to the rectangle and group them together. I can call this music policy, that is music. So I'll hit Ctrl T, adjust its position, thereby creating room for the theme text to breathe as well. Hit Ctrl J to make a duplicate and adjust its position like this as well. So for this I'll change this text to hype precisely. That is for the music policy, I'll change it to hype. Okay, hold Ctrl, make sure the text layer is selected, click your move tool and align it to the middle of the rectangle. Okay, so I'll come over here, edit this and paste in the actual text. Okay, that's for that. Change this to bold, to extra bold to be precise. Okay, that's for that. So I can come over here and make adjustments like this. Okay, by taking this up like this. I think this is okay. And come over here where I have this set of text and adjust the space between them to about 4.5. Then use my navigation key to adjust. So after I'm done with this, I would like to create a rectangle for the date and time. So I'll come here and paste in my text over here. For this particular text, I would like to scale up the size to a good size, and this changes to extra bold precisely, and still scale down the size like this. Okay, while for this other text, you can choose to still scale up the size like this. Okay, for this, the time, I'll change this to extra bold and scale up the size as well. So I'll start by coming to the character panel and increase the space between text like this. While for this, I would like to adjust the space like this as well. For the time, select the time and come over here like this. Adjust the space as well a little, so there should be a space between them like this. I think this is actually okay, and adjust it a little bit like this. Okay, make sure they are aligned to the middle precisely. So I'll come over to where I have the rectangle to be precise, hold Control, and you notice my mouse pointer changes to this region. Select the rectangle, make sure the text layer is selected, pick the move tool, align this horizontally and vertically to the middle of the rectangle. Ctrl D to deselect, Ctrl C to transform, and scale the size down like this. Okay, so I can still choose to transform the rectangle, hold Control, hold Alt and Shift simultaneously and make adjustments like this as well. That is for this. So the next thing I have to do is to place the venue of the event. So I'll paste in this text over here. For this, I'll scale down the size. Okay, and select the whole text and align it to the middle to be precise. Okay, adjust the space between the text on the vertical. Check. Ctrl A to make a quick selection of the canvas. Pick the move tool and align horizontally to the middle. Ctrl D to deselect. Adjust the space like this. Okay, come over here and still adjust the space between the text on the vertical axis precisely. I think this is okay. So for this, I'll hold Alt to make a duplicate for this. Okay, I'm placing the reservation contacts. So I'll come over here and paste in the contact phone number for reservation and bookings. So I'll hit Ctrl T to transform and scale this down and place it to somewhere around here. Ctrl A, pick your move tool and align this horizontally. Ctrl D, come to the character panel and increase your tracking like this. Okay, so I think you're good. Align this to the middle. Ctrl D. You can adjust the position like this. Okay, so after you're done with this, I would like to make some adjustment as well by coming over here to where I have this set of information and make the various adjustments. Okay, so for the theme, select this layer all the way to where I have this hide policy text. Hit Ctrl T and scale this down like this. I'm transforming it, scale it down like this. Okay, and I'm good to go. So I'll click on the check button. I think this is actually looking good like this. So I can still come over here, pick my text tool. Can still choose to increase the size of this text a little. Something like this is looking okay. So Ctrl A, pick your move tool and align this to the middle. Ctrl D to deselect. So the final phase, I'll be making use of the color lookups to do a little fill of colors to this. So you just play around and see the one that actually works perfectly for you and use it for your projects. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of today's tutorial video. If you do find this video helpful, do well to smash the like button. And if you are new to the channel and you're yet to subscribe, do well to smash the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload my next video on my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always watching. The link to the exercise file is in the video description. Please don't forget to like and drop your comments in the comment section. Please, if you do enjoy this video, drop your comments in the comment section. If you have any question, any comments, please as well drop them in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching.